Betty was the kind of girl everyone called a good girl because she always follows instruction and did exactly what her parents told her. One afternoon, she was walking home from school. She passed by a bookstore. She usually ignored such places, but something about this one caught her eyes, and therefore she decided to step inside. Once she stepped inside, the air inside the bookstore was heavy, almost stifling, but the scent of old pages intrigued her. She browsed the shelves, through it, until she noticed a strange dusty corner labeled the silence section. Something about that corner felt wrong, but Betty couldn't resist the pull. Therefore, she walked over and scanned the spines of the book in that particular shelf. Her finger brushed against a book titled The Last Reader. The title intrigued her, and despite the uneasy feeling growing in her chest, she picked it up and decided to buy it. But when she handed the book to the cashier, the old man behind the counter hesitated. He stared at the book, then at her, before saying in a low voice, "Be careful what you read." This warning unraveled her, but Betty shrugged it off and went home with the book anyway. That evening, Betty sat on her bed and opened The Last Reader. The first page was a peculiar introduction which says, "What you read becomes your reality." She laughed it off because she turned the pages and realized the book described events that felt strangely vivid, like a dream she couldn't remember. When she finally fell asleep that night, her dreams were filled with very terrible and uncertain images. A dark forest that whispers in a foreign language and a shadowy figure that seems to watch her. She woke up drenched in sweat and gasped, only to find the book lying open on her desk. She remembered placing this particular book on a nightstand, but she thought she must have forgotten, so she shrugged it off. And the next day, Betty avoided the book, but that night, curiosity got the better of her, and she thought to herself, why not she read a few more pages? Therefore, the dreams grew even darker as she read more pages. She dreams of an absolute library where the book screamed when touched, and she could feel herself sinking into its endless shelves. When she woke up, the last reader was no longer on her desk, it was on her window this time around. This pattern continues for days, but the more she read, the harder it became to stop. Each night, her dreams become more terrible and more vivid. Therefore, she began to dread sleep, but her curiosity chained her to the book, and she couldn't resist flipping through its cursed pages. One night, the book ended abruptly with a single sentence, "You are the last reader." Betty grasped and dropped it, but the moment she looked away, the book disappeared. Therefore, she searched her room, only to find it on her pillow. Moments later, its title now glowing faintly. Betty wanted to throw the book away, but her hands refused to let go. The book seemed to pause under her fingertips, its cover growing warm. Therefore, she opened it one last time, and the pages were blank. Suddenly, her room grew darker, and a voice whispered, "Thank you for completing the story." Betty screamed, but no one could hear her. By morning, she was gone. She disappeared, and the last reader was back in the silence section, waiting for its next victim. Thanks for watching my video. Please like and subscribe.